main thing I want to talk about was the chart.
This chart is just a continuation of other charts I've done in the past for other histories. And basically, the chart is shows the vertical or the horizontal grid, okay? In a vertical line, it shows the years, and the horizontal layout shows the style. So you can point on a chart any activity pinpointed exactly within this grid of time and style. You could call the whole chart like travels of John Cage. Like you could say travels of St. Paul, you know, wherever St. Paul went, he left the church. Well, the same thing is here. Wherever John Cage went, he left a little John Cage group, which some admit, some don't admit his influence. But the fact is there that those groups form after his visits. That shows up very clearly on the chart. So the chart therefore starts with what influenced Cage. Cage is definitely the central figure in the chart.
Yeah.
So you could call that chart as a Cage chart. So you start first with the areas, the movements that influenced him. And that's very clearly also outlined here. You have the idea of indeterminacy and simultaneity and concretism and noise coming from futurism theater, like futurist music of Rousseau. Then you have the idea of the ready-made and concept art coming from Marcel Duchamp. Okay, you have the idea of collage and concretism coming from Dada's. Now, see, they all shown in a chart how they all end up with John Cage with his prepared piano, which is really a collage of sounds.
1938?
1938, yeah. Then his Musique Concrète, which is 1939. Then all his travels are shown. Meanwhile, there is a parallel interest in this chart, and that is of what I would call happenings or action, to which two people contributed. John Cage again, in 1952, his first happening. And in the same year, Georges Mathieu also did the first happening, called Battle of Bouvines. And interesting sideline is that Mathieu did go to Japan and did this action and started off the Gutai group. Georges Mathieu was instrumental in starting the Gutai group. Now the chart doesn't show contribution of Gil Klein, and that's why he should still be added on. That's why the chart is incomplete.
Oh.
Gil Klein has to be given more prominence in 1950s, which he is not. The other important figure is Joseph Cornell, starting in 1932. Now, his influence sort of is connected to Surrealism. And it shows how his influence affects a lot George Brecht and Bob Watts, especially George Brecht. You can give Lamont Young these short compositions of 1960 some credit of that too on Halprin's natural activities. And like, let's say his audience sitting on a stage doing nothing. Okay, that's a natural activity. It's not a dance. Okay, now we come to the middle of a chart. No, not still the middle, to first quarter. Like 1959, we becomes suddenly very active. Mainly because John Cage opens up a school and has all those people coming to his school. Also, the so-called novel realists in France become very active. Plus, Ben Boitier becomes very active. So 1959 is very influential year. You have Nanjun Pike doing first piece. You have Westell doing first piece. You know, Alan Caprow doing first happenings. Dick Higgins. And Heath Klein, well, he did already before that, but, you know, like, we culminated, let's say, by then. Ben Boitier doing his first piece by signing everything: continents, peace, famine, war, noise, end of the world, and especially human sculptures. That's something important to know because later Manzoni copied it. Gestures, you have first gestures appearing then in 1959, and not in like 68 with Da Conchi and people like that. And yeah, first poster stamps of Bob Watts. A lot of card music that is written on cards, like of George Brecht. And first sort of concept art of Henry Flint. Then that goes on through 1960. And Fluxus comes in 1961, late in 61. Actually, you could say officially early in 62. Because in 61 I had a gallery which did everything that later Fluxus did, but didn't use that name.
That's the AG Gallery?
Right. And Lamont Young had a series of the same kind of thing, same kind of events at the Yoko Ono studio on Chamber Street. So that chart points out, gives the whole program, you know, what was performed then. Then in 1962, I went to Europe, and the plan was to continue, so then the idea was to do concert as a promotional thing for selling whatever we're going to publish or produce. That's how the Wiesbaden series came by. And that's the first time that it was called Fluxus Festival.
I'd like to ask about the name Fluxus. I mean, where did that come from?
Reason for it was the various meanings that you find in a dictionary for it, you know, so that it's like has very broad many meanings. So funny meanings. And then nobody seemed to care anyway what we were going to call it, because there was no formal meetings or groups or anything. Now, then after we started to do the concerts, we started to have little shows, exhibits too. And that's how we started to make objects that could be sort of multiples, you know, mass-produced. See, I got hold of lots of plastic boxes from a factory.
Mm-hmm.
And I just handed them to everybody. And I said, how about, you know, doing something with them? So George Brecht was the first one to respond, and he came up with lots of little boxes with games and puzzles and things like that.
What had he been? What had been his format before then? Cards, printed events?
No, boxes too.
Boxes?
But they were sort of handmade wooden boxes.
On the order of Cornell, would you say?
Yeah.
Influenced by Cornell?
Right, Cornell style, and sort of one of a kind, definitely.
Uh-huh.
But now I was saying we were going to make multiples, you know, say like 100 boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So here is a simple plastic box, and I asked them to think up of simple things to do with it. So George Brecht thought of, he was the first one to respond. Ben Wattier responded with a lot too. And Bob Watts. And you know, by then it kept each year there more and more, by another $100. I couldn't list everyone.
Concerning the chart, what do you mean by concretism, and sort of what's the history? And secondly, what part does humor play in that, and sort of how do you trace the history of humor? Because it seems to me that your aesthetic is tied up with both of these things.
That's right. Well, concretism is a very simple term. It means opposite of abstraction. So, and that's what the dictionary meaning means. Opposite of abstraction. Now you can have illusionistic music, you can have abstract music, you can have concrete music, or you can have poetry the same way. Now in music, let's say if you have an orchestra, that's abstract, because the sounds are all done artificially by musical instruments. But if that orchestra is trying to imitate a storm, you know, like say Debussy, or Ravel does it, that's illusionistic now. It's still not realistic. But if you're going to use noises like clapping of the audience, or farting, or whatever, now that's concrete. Or street car sound, you know, or a whole bunch of dishes falling down from a shelf. That's concrete. Nothing illusionistic about it, or abstract. So same thing with action.
What were the best examples in the visual and plastic arts?
Most concrete is the ready-made. Now, Duchamp thought mainly about ready-made objects. John Cage extended it to ready-made sound. But George Brecht extended it furthermore, well, together with Ben Wattier, into ready-made actions, everyday actions. So, for instance, a piece of George Brecht where you turn the light on and off, he says, okay? That's a piece. Turn the light on and then off. Now you do that every day, right? Without even knowing, you're performing George Brecht. That's a real concrete piece. I would give to George Brecht a lot of credit for extending the idea of ready-made into the realm of action. And Ben Wattier? And Ben Wattier too. Now he is taking the ready-made to the absurdity, you know, to the end, absurd end. That he leaves nothing untouched. He signs everything. Therefore, everything is Ben Wattier. So there is a humor comes in already. But otherwise, humor, there is a lot of humor in futurist theater. There's a lot of humor in just straight vaudeville. Like Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. There's a lot of humor in musical humor, like Spike Jones. And now they may not have had very direct influence, but you know, they were still there. So there's still that tradition of doing funny concepts and funny music. And Bob Watts was sort of keen on humor. And Ben Wattier again, but I would say I was mostly concerned with humor. I mean, like, that's my main interest, is humor. And Bob Watts had a lot of it, that concern. George Brecht, I don't know, maybe quite a lot too. But generally, most Fluxus people tended to have a concern with humor.
Target there. Man, you want to program? Coming back, or you gotta go faster?
Constellation number 11. Please choose a word. Choose a length of time between 1 and 10 seconds. I'm going to conduct this. When I'm at the top of the conducting, please start to count out the length of time silently to yourself. And when your length of time comes by, this will take about 10 seconds for me to come down and I cut off. Before I cut off, please say your word. Everyone got their word? Okay.
Hello. Word.
Joe!
Hi.
Thank you.
Is Lamont Young in the audience?
No, I'm not.
Do you mind? Yes, sir.
November 23rd, 1981.
I wanted to know if you made a connection between Fluxus and Dada, and that Fluxus is a name that's applied to a sort of, let's say, for lack of a better word, a certain sort of aesthetic or approach to expression.
It became that eventually, after a few years. It became, I would say, it's not a group, but more like a way of life, you know. Now, Dada was definitely a tight group with a strict membership. Fluxus is not. It's more like a way of doing things. You know, very informal, sort of like a joke group. You know, it's like if you ask people like George Brecht, are you Fluxus, then he'll just laugh at you, you know. It's more like Zen than Dada in that sense. If you ask a Zen monk, are you Zen, he probably won't reply you saying, yes, I'm Zen. You know?
Mm-hmm.
He'll give you some odd answer. Like hit you on the head with a stick. Mm-hmm. So it's not that rational a group. It's not easy to describe it in just a sentence. Its characteristics, but I think like you carry many things over. You know, it has the humor. It does have the functionalism, a lot of that. It's a very concrete, I think. You see, it's all connected with the John Cage. When John Cage says that you can listen to street noise and get art experience from that, then you don't need musicians to make music. Everybody can be his own musician and listen to street noises. If you get art experience for George Brecht piece of turning the light on and off every evening or morning, everybody is that. You see? You eliminate the whole profession of artist completely. If you can get from everyday life experience, you know, from everyday ready-mades, you can obtain art, you can substitute that experience with that, then you completely eliminate the need of artists.
Beloved, we are assembled here in the presence of gargoyles to join this man and this woman in Fluxus marriage, which is instituted on the electromagnetic. Let us therefore reverently remember the reindeer have established and sanctified marriage for the welfare and happiness of mankind, according to the ordinance of seesaws in the Fluxus bond of marriage. Now, say after me. I, George, take thee, Billy, to be my wedded wife, and I do promise and covenant before bladders and these witnesses to be thy loving and faithful husband in plenty and in want, in joy and in sorrow, in sickness and in health, as long as we both shall live. I, Billy, take thee, George, to be my wedded husband. By the authority committed unto me as a minister of the Church of Envelope, I declare that George and Billy are now husband and wife, according to the ordinance of hacksaws and the law of the state, in the name of the union suits and the testicles and the cestus.
It's yours? I know, but he said
Yeah, oh, I put you. That's your last name, first name. And OEL?
Good.
What's the title of this?
See you out at Wednesday, I guess.
Okay, about short, like 5 minutes?
So, right.
Okay.
No, there's a meeting earlier. The witness here.
You want to sing?
I have a tape of it.
Right?
Yeah?
8 minutes, you think?
She's gonna stand in for
This is my present to George. The starting glass looks, because George you win in this battle, like in starting. Oh. I never had like this in my life.
Where the phonics never you. If it was you, ever be you saying, it's me, I love you. So, hardly wait. I come over right. I hate the sound of the punch. I can hardly wait to wait to see you.
Fluxus is not dead yet. In Fluxus, I must talk to you about John Cage. John Cage, alles ist gut, John Cage. Alles. No, das ist nicht John Cage, das ist Duchamp. Duchamp. Alles ist gut. John Cage hat Leben gemacht. Leben. Leben ist Kunst. Ja. Fluxus ist jung. Jung. Fluxus ist gelb. Billy boy, where have you been? Billy boy, where have you been? Chumming Billy.
I also brought something that I can leave with you. This is a vase that I like very much. Keith will help me to make this into many pieces, and I will ask you to take the pieces home. And in 10 years, we will promise that we will meet again and put the bars together again.
still alive. Fluxus is going gaga and dada. Fluxus ist ein bisschen ein Lüger. Fluxus ist überflüssig. Fluxus makes glory out of anti-glory ideas. Fluxus makes art out of anti-art ideas. Fluxus makes money out of anti-money ideas. But I'm going to perform now. I'm going to jump. You see, Fluxus can jump. So I jump, huh?
And just do as I instruct. 1 foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. Bring other foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. 1 foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. Bring other foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. First foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. Bring other foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. First foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. Bring other foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. First foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. Bring other foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. First foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. Bring other foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. First foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. Bring other foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. First foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. Bring other foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. First foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. Bring other foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. First foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. Bring other foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. First foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. Bring other foot forward. Transfer weight to this foot. First